Kishmish with Muska and Surya. Ready to break the rules. Your discretion is strongly advised. Be warned. Mardum Chimega.
Hi guys! Welcome back to Kishmish Nakhot. We're back with a treat, which is ourselves. Now you can see us on video. We're back by popular demand.
Very popular.
It took us some time to get some of these episodes together, of course, but unfortunately life happens, things happen.
Honestly, we've been trying since January, and as we're recording this, I don't know when you're gonna see it, but it's September 30th. So 2021, in case the year changes too.
You know what? I don't doubt that, but also this is a very, very relevant topic that we want to come on here and talk about.
Yes.
It's very, very. Well, I don't want to say new.
No, it kind of hits everything we promised you.
Yeah, because we've got the murder mysteries, we've got the taboos, we've got ourselves. We're gonna make this a little bit light and comical because it's very, very heavy content, and it's very I mean, it could really trigger you emotionally, so we're gonna try to not do that because it took us long enough to try to get over that.
To you. Yeah.
So yeah, let's get right to it.
Alright. It's also relevant right now because of what's happening in Afghanistan. So even though we planned this in January and we're recording it in September, but this is very relevant as to what's happening because we're talking about the LGBTQ community, which are in real danger in Afghanistan. They always have been, but more so now because of the Taliban.
Yeah.
And we do want to talk about it because what do we expect people from Afghanistan to do differently if we here cannot support our loved ones that are battling between the life that we expect them to live and the life they want to live or they're born to live? So I think
so. You may or may not agree with some of the things that we say, and that's fine. Everybody to each their own. Of course,
and
we
do
would
comment it.
Yeah, of course, we would love for you to comment. We would love for your feedback. We would love to hear any other topics you want us to cover. However, let's remember to keep this respectful. We keep this a safe space, and remember that the point of our shows is to touch on taboos and different opinions on these taboos. So
we don't want to be here just giving you what you want to hear. You get that generally on Afghan TVs anyway.
Exactly.
So we're gonna come here and bother you a little bit. And
we're really gonna pick your brains and really see why you believe what you believe.
Exactly. And we are interested in knowing. So please don't feel in any way, just comment, but keep it lovey-dovey and respectful like we are.
Exactly.
All right. So to the topic today, it's a topic that should have been like international news when it happened, but that's not what happened. So we would like to talk about that as well as the two victims that were Afghans, and that will be our main topic today. We may do a different episode about the police investigation, the media coverage and all, but for now we do want to focus on the two Afghan men that should have gotten the attention but did not. But we will give you a light story as to how it started and what's happening.
Okay, so the year is 2010. As far back as we know, as far back as evidence tells us, a man named Bruce MacArthur goes out and he's dating this guy named Skandaraj Navaratnam, Sri Lankan man, since 1999.
On and off.
On and off, of course. And this guy basically, the Sri Lankan man goes missing, and nobody really reports him missing, but people do know that they had been dating since 1999 and that they had a very abusive relationship, and that
things were pretty rough.
Things were pretty rough.
In the bedroom and outside.
That's
so,
right.
Maybe TMI, but that's the fact. Next person that goes missing is our own Afghan Abdulbasir Faizi. He was an Afghan man. He was living a double life. His family had no idea he was gay or that he was a
Frequenting.
frequent, yeah, he was a member or attending or going to, I can't talk right now because there's so much in my head that I want to tell you and everything is like just clashing, but he was going to the gay village often and he was known there. So when he did go missing, his cousin reported him missing. Police looked into it, but not as much as they should have. I think it was just like a minority, I think. And they found out that he was gay because they checked his credit, and they found out that he had gone to Amom in the gay village. So and they assumed he was gay, and which turned out to be true. But at the time, I guess I'm not sure if they had enough information about that. They went to the family and told the family that he was living a double life, and they found his car a few days later in Toronto.
So fast forward, another Afghan man goes missing by the name of Majeed Kayhan. He was married before, he was no longer married, he moved from Guelph. He did have children as well, and he was a little bit more open about the kind of lifestyle that he was living, although he may not have been super duper openly gay, but he wasn't necessarily hiding it on purpose either. And when he went missing, his son reported him missing.
And he was last seen at a family or relative's wedding. So he was still in touch with his family. The next person that goes missing is Soroush Mahmudi. He was from Iran, and he met a transgender woman, Sarah, I think it's Sarah Kayhan, back in the 1990s, and he experimented, he moved in with her, things were going well, and I guess that's when he realized he was gay. That didn't go well, they ended it, and he married a Sri Lankan Muslim woman that he met, and he was living with her and her son. She reported him missing.
Our next victim was Kumar Kanagaratnam, if I'm saying that correctly. He was another Sri Lankan man, living in the city, frequenting the village. All of these men basically frequented what we call the village or the gay village, which is downtown Toronto. It's an area where a lot of openly gay people will hang out and be, and it's just like a open community space for them. So all these men frequented there, and of course Kumar Kanagaratnam goes missing, and nobody reports it as per usual.
He was actually an undocumented, so he was living underground. So he was not supposed to be in Canada, and no one reported him missing. He was actually working with Bruce McArthur as well in his landscaping business, and so was Abdulbasir Faizi.
Right. So next is Dean Lisowick. He was a homeless man who also frequented the village. He had some mental health issues, he had some drug abuse problems, but he really kind of had no family, no real friends. He wasn't really like out there in the community like that. So again, when he goes missing, nobody said anything about it.
Next is Selim Esen. Selim Esen. He goes missing. He's from Turkey. He's actually a Turkish citizen in Canada. He goes missing and nothing really happens until
Andrew Kinsman, a well-known member of the gay community and the community itself, like outside of the gay community, goes missing, and then his friends, his family, they go out there. They obviously report him missing. They make sure that the community is involved. They press for the police to do further investigations.
And that's when, like, basically the media gets involved as well. Until then, the media and the police were not as involved. When the first three men died, being Skandaraj, Abdulbasir, Faizi, and Kayhan Majeed Kayhan, when they went missing, police did start an investigation, but it didn't lead anywhere, even though a mutual friend of Skandaraj put together, like, in his mind, like, you know what, I think Bruce McArthur is behind this, and told the police. It wasn't taken. The two. Yeah, the police didn't take him serious. They brought Bruce McArthur for questioning, but nothing really happened. And even in 2016, Bruce McArthur was brought in for questioning for a choking incident that happened in his van with another man. Nothing happened again. He went to the police himself and was like, yo, bro, I did this. And they're like, it's cool, bro, what happens, you know? boys will be boys.
Yeah, and
so actually,
times.
white boys will be white boys.
Right.
So that's what happened. Like, no one ever took it serious, even though Bruce McArthur went to the police, I believe, twice during this time. And
he turned himself in and said, look, I know I hurt somebody. I don't know why I did it, but I just felt like it, so I did it.
And the worst part is the police didn't even report it. Like, didn't even take it serious. It wasn't, that's the word I'm looking for. It wasn't documented. It was not. And had it been documented, or even the 2016 case, had that been documented on the system, or the interview recorded or saved into the system, things would have been different, because when the next time he came in, there would be a record, because every time he got checked, he had no record. But because every time he went in, no one recorded anything and added to his profile on, like, the police record, or whatever they're called.
Right.
But there was nothing ever saved, so that's why he was able to get away with it for so many years. And this isn't the first time. Like, it started in 2001, where he had a similar case. For that, he got charged, and then that was taken off his record. After that, he's never been charged for anything until the murder of Andrew Kinsman.
Right. So after Andrew Kinsman's murder, basically, the police open another investigation. They find him, they find a lot of evidence that leads to him. They find that he actually went on a date with Kinsman, and it was on security footage, and that's how they connected it. They went to his apartment, and they found another guy there tied up, not unarmed, but tied up. And
basically, with that, they were following MacArthur, and they noticed that he picked up another man, and they took him to the bedroom, to his apartment, whatever. And the police didn't know what to do, so they didn't know if they should break in or should, nothing. They didn't have sufficient evidence to break in, basically. Right. But they did, and they actually ended up saving the guy because he was tied up, and he would have been the next victim.
Right. And so when they went into the apartment, lo and behold, they found an item from each one of his victims.
He saved.
That he had saved as
a trophy for himself.
Basically.
Yeah. Go on.
So
he was arrested then?
Yes, and then there was a further investigation done, but at one point when they wanted to do it, it was, I think, January, and the ground was frozen, and they weren't able to really do much digging. So they waited for the weather to get warmer.
And, this is where it's going to get graphic, so feel free to, fast forward a little bit. He had dismembered these men that he had killed. So for those that are not, new and, not good in English, I guess, that means his body was chopped up in pieces, and they were put inside planters. So, speaking in Farsi, مردم گرفتن توتا کردن در گلدانا انداخته. بروس مکارتر که بود نفره بود که در باغبان واره یک چیزه که میرفتن اولیای مردم جور میکردن این چیزا. باز در گلدان توتای مردم انداخته بود و او خانه از یکی از دوستایش بود که نگاه میکرد. گفته بود من خانه تمام جور میکنم. باز یکی سه خانه از رو برای سامانهای خود نگاه کرده بود برای سامانهای گلکاری و گلکاری. So that's what happened. It's so graphic because imagine you trust a friend, you allow them to use your space, and then next thing you know, they are hiding body parts of humans. And two of the people, I think her name was Karen Fraser. Karen Fraser. Yeah. It was her house, and two of them she has met. One of them being Abdulbasir Faizi.
Right.
So. It's just, for the rest of her life, she's going to be I lived in that house and there were dead bodies all over.
Yeah, and not just dead bodies, but people that may have potentially worked on her house.
And actually, they were. Two of them were
employed by Bruce McArthur.
And they would go to that location and have lunch together. So, Bruce McArthur with his employees would just go there, on daily basis and eat. I feel like it was more for him, around him, it's not just us, it's all these other people that I've killed. Yeah. It was this go-to place, comfort.
Right.
But
so basically, long story short, he has been charged for
8 counts of first-degree murder, and he pled guilty.
Yes. Currently, he is serving life imprisonment with no parole, but he is contesting it.
Really?
But he is contesting it. But currently there seems to be no parole for him, and they're not really looking into it further anymore because,
he already confessed.
Yeah, there's...
So we're going to talk about the two Afghan victims here. And I feel like it's important that we do because I don't know if they got justice just because he got caught. They were kind of written off by their family and friends. You know what I mean? Like, if it's someone we know, or like, for example, if it's like me. And like, I do something and then my whole family cuts me off. Imagine that. And then, like, for Abdulbasir Faizi, basically what happened with him, like, his family had no idea he had this second life. And when they found out, his wife, like, filed for divorce. I'm sure his daughters were not happy with it. And then they find out that their father was cut up in pieces. Now, I'm pretty sure, or at least in my mind, I'm thinking they probably wish they did something.
Of course, as any child would.
Like, maybe, like, I think, like, had our community, because there were two Afghans back to back that were murdered, had we got up and said something, and this is in 2010 and 2012, at that time I was not in media, I was not involved, so I didn't know about it, but looking back, there's no news article about it either.
Yeah, especially in the Afghan community that wants to cover everything but our own Afghans. I mean, thinking about it, like, yes, okay, it is a taboo topic, yes, understood.
Yeah.
But these were not, these were not families that were, or rather, these were not people that, did not have families. These were not people that were not well connected. People would have noticed them missing from their communities.
And they did go, like, the families knew. There were members, other victims in the list that no one knew went missing.
Exactly.
But with Faizi and Kayhan, their families knew they went missing. They were reported missing.
But they never really pressed further.
No, especially with, like, I feel like it's really unfair to Basir Faizi because his family, like, literally abandoned him. Like,
as soon as they found out that he was gay, they didn't wait for them to, tell them.
Find him. Like, yeah, he was gay, but he's still alive because he was gay this whole time and nothing happened. He was still coming home. Where's my dad? Where's my husband? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, no one, like, I'm not blaming you guys if you are watching this. Like, I'm like, my condolences to you. And I don't blame you because it is the community and this is why we are talking about it. Because, like, would you rather have someone be gay or dead? Like, the thing is, like, I know gay Muslim, like, in my circle, and they have like, a friend of mine had been this close to suicide because she was gay and she didn't want anyone to know. And she was feeling guilty because of the community we are in. So, like, when you think about it, would you rather give someone that safe space that they can come and tell you they're gay, or hide who they are because you're going to judge them? Or would you rather they go die and then you'd be like, oh shit, I should have been there?
So I actually asked a few of you guys what your opinions were regarding having someone gay in your lives. And believe it or not, I had a lot of mixed responses. So the first time around when I did this, I had a lot of very passive, let them live their life, and a lot of also, nope, don't want to have anything to do with it. And they were just kind of like, they were denying that gayness existed in the Afghan community. However, when I did this again, I found a much different response.
I think they felt, because we talked about it so much, I think people are feeling more comfortable talking to us about it.
And more comfortable actually, formulating an opinion about it. Yeah. So unfortunately, I still have the very bad slurs that I'm not going to name. I also have the whole, they're shoving their lifestyle down our throats conversation. Yeah. That's a given. But I'm also getting a lot of people, so I have actually gone out of their way, they've researched this, and a lot of scholars, a lot of different sects actually believe in Islam that you are born with your sexuality. Yeah. However, your test in this world is not your sexuality, because you don't get to choose that, but rather whether you act upon it or not. That is your test. So a lot of people are, they agree with that, and they're like, you know what, if you can't choose being gay, it's not wrong to be gay, it's just you can't act upon it. There are other people that follow some minority sects, and they say that, you know what, you can be gay and Muslim, and you can act upon it and be Muslim, because at the end of the day, if God didn't want you like this, then he would have made you like this, and all of that. And then we have people that are, again, still very conservative, and they're all very, just let them live. And then we have the whole, be whatever you want to be, but just don't be it around me kind of thing. And
it's like, you can't
pick and choose. You can't turn it on and off. Can you turn your straightness on and off?
Yeah, like imagine someone's like, it's a good not to be straight. Like I feel like religiously, I'm not gonna say like Quran says be gay, but at the same time, like there's so many other sins that we commit. Like we do so many things that are like right now, like I feel like maybe I'm breaking some Islamic rule, but at the same time it doesn't mean like you're gonna write me off for it. So why would you write off someone that's gay? That's their sin. Like they're just sinning differently.
Like, that's actually something that I got a lot of on the on my when I asked on the questionnaire. A lot of people said that they're like, well, you have friends that drink, you have friends that have tattoos, you have friends that smoke, you have friends that date and have premarital sex, and you know that they do, but you don't cut them off. But then you would choose someone gay, and you would cut them off for being or acting gay, depending on where really their what do you call it? Their spectrum ends, essentially. And at that point, you're choosing what's halal enough and what's haram enough for you. And
this is probably like not the right comparison, but I just can't help compare in my head. Like, the whole thing, it's like the person will drink, it's okay to drink, but astaghfirullah, no pork. This is basically like, when you're thinking about the sin, this is the same. Like, you're saying it's a sin. Okay, fine, it's a sin, but who are you?
And then you're the one putting the stop as to how far you're willing to go.
Yeah, like, if it's more than you went, or like whatever, in your mind it's a sin, but in the other person, imagine how they're feeling. Like, everybody in their family, or like 99.9999% of the people they know in the community and their families, that's not going to accept them. So it's either like commit suicide or live a double life, or be miserable for the rest of your life because you're not attracted to the person you're with.
And then essentially end up having mental health problems anyway, and still suffering.
And it's actually not fair to the person they're with. Like, if, for example, like, okay, I'm not gonna, like, let's just say like I'm a lesbian and I am married to my husband. It's not fair to him because he's not getting all of me because I'm not into it. And it's not fair to me because that's not what I'm interested in. I'm using myself as an example because I don't want anyone else to be offended. Like, what the hell? But you know what I mean? Like,
of course. And
it's not fair. And it's the community that forces you into something like that.
Exactly. And I feel like that's what happened in terms of Abdulbasir Faizi. He was living a double life because he knew he wouldn't get accepted. And that's exactly what happened. As soon as he went missing, the wife filed for divorce. And again, not judging at all, but the wife filed for divorce. The kids basically had nothing to do with him. And they didn't wait to see whether he was alive or dead, or if he was even in the city. Like, they're just like, oh, gay? Okay, out of here.
Yeah.
Boom.
And I feel like there's some blame to be put on the cops here because there should have been more done.
Of course, they should have been
You can't just be like, hey, he was gay and our investigation is done. He was gay, that's where the investigation ends. But it's a missing persons report. A missing person report doesn't end when you find out their sexuality.
Exactly. But also, I have to say, quite a bit of blame should be placed on the Afghan community as well, especially in the diaspora, because although I'm not condoning or condemning what the family did, I also do understand, coming from an Afghan community, that if they had said, yeah, okay, he's gay, but we're worried about him, they would have been shunned too, and they're still living in this community.
That's true.
And they have to show face, like, at the end of the day. And let me say this for the Afghans, اگر کس که در فامیلت باشه که هم جنس خوش داشته باشه و شما دربارش میفهمین، معلومات دارین و شما میگین خیرک، من اکسپت میکنم و قبول دارم، من میره امین نفره هنوزم دوست دارم، در فامیلم هسته و دربارش فکر میکنم، شما از مو کمیونیتی، از مو افغانیت شما رد میشین، از everyone's gonna kick you out، شما را بخید like میکشن. And that's, like, it's understandable.
Well, yeah, they're gonna get blacklisted, basically. Like,
exactly.
Oh, you agree with that? the thing is, like, even when we were doing this episode, we were supposed to have some other speakers, but no one actually dared to come and talk about it for the very reason that how would the community take it? Yeah, and honestly, like, of course, we thought about it too. It's not like it hasn't crossed at least my mind. I'll speak on my behalf. But like, it's not just for me. It's honestly like for me because I'm also Jawab. Like, if someone says anything, I'd be like, yo, Batuchi. But I'm more worried like. But like more so for like my parents, you know, you worry because like they get to hear, like no one tells me anything. They go straight to my parents. They're like, oh, Bechara, like your daughter.
Oh yeah,
but
they're gonna.
Thank God, things have changed a lot because now people do know me and they kind of expect these kind of videos from me now.
Yeah, well, same here. Like they're gonna be like, oh, you know. دخترت سکو درباره چی گپ میزنه بسیار بی‌تربیت است بسیار ترس.
Yeah, like we're not promoting it, but we're not gonna condone it either. Like to each their own. Like if you want to live a life, it's imagine اگر کسی شما رو بگه که شما باید از همجنس باشین و قسمی که آلا هستین قبول نمیشه و شما با هیچ همجنستون علاقه ندارین. As for that, like before you do something, but خودت like put yourself in their shoes before you judge. How do you say that in Farsi now? I don't know how to say that in Farsi, but just
اونا رو درک کنین، فکر کنین که شما در بجای از واستین درک کنین که وا چی رقم احساس میکنن، چی رقم زندگی پیش میبرن، چی رقم مشکلات پیششان میآید و درک کنین که اگر شما میبودین، اگر فامیل شما میبود یا کسی که شما دوست دارین، اگر اونا میبود که بجای از این انسان میبود، اونا چی فکر میکردن، اونا چی رقم زندگی میکردن.
And از مجید کیهان باز دوستایش فامیلایش آمد گپ زد، تلویزیون گپ زد، اینترویو چیزا از عبدالبصیر فیضی و کسی نبود تا که خبر شدن که کشته شده، پارچه شده، پدرشان یا شوهرشان یا فامیلش به ارتباط کمرش ریلیشنشیپ داشت. But in court, like this breaks my heart. As خاطر خانمش, like she gave a statement in court and it just breaks your heart because she was talking about how the daughters in their room, they take his picture and they talk to the picture and they cry to the picture. And they feel horrible what happened to their father. I just wish.
Can't say anything about it in public.
Yeah, but I also I just wish they felt that bad when he went missing and they put, I'm sorry, I'm not blaming you. I know it's coming across that way and I would have said, I don't know what I would have done. Let's put it that way. And I do apologize that it feels like an attack on you, my condolences, but like I just wished we acted, and I'm sure you feel the same now if you're like, you know, his family and friends, had you act a little sooner, I don't think it would have saved his life because with his pattern, he kills them the night they go missing.
Right.
So I don't think it would have done anything differently for, let's say, Abdulbasir Faizi, but it might have changed things because Majeed Kayhan was the next victim.
And we don't know how many Afghans currently are going through this right now. We don't know how many are living double lives. We don't know if any of them are missing and this story is happening again. We just don't know of it. And you know, like if we had that togetherness in the community, if we had that sense of, you know what, at the end of the day you still belong and we're still like we don't
like you feel that acceptance with us.
Exactly. Then شاید که این نفرها گم نمیشدن because they would have been honest. Okay, من اینجا هستم، اینجا میرم، امروز این نفر هستم و گم نمیشدن و اگه گم نمیشدن somebody could have called the police, somebody could have followed up on it. کسی فراموششان نمیکرد، نامشان گم نمیشد.
Soroush Mahmudi, when he died, they didn't even connect him to this case because they didn't know he was gay. So he died and they knew these gay men are going missing and he went missing. No one connected the dot that he was gay and it could be a trend, like he could be one of the, or he could be a part of that, or same person has got them and like killed them or whatever. No one connected that dot because no one knew he was gay. So I mean, like, things would have been so much different.
Imagine hiding it.
Bruce MacArthur knew what he was doing.
Of course he knew.
He picked these people. One of them, I forgot his first name, but middle name Kumar. He was undocumented, so no one knew he went missing. He had no family and friends.
He picked people who either had really no family or friends, or had no support from the community and were a minority and knew that if even, you know, people found out that they were gay, they would just disown them and forget about them.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I feel like in his sick mind, he thought he was doing the world a favor.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, he was gay himself.
Right.
You're talking about Bruce McArthur, right?
Right, but I'm saying, like, but these people were just kind of, like, unwanted in their society because they were either homeless or they had mental health problems or they were undocumented or they were people of color with a very, very judgy type of community.
And I'm sure
so they were the unwanteds in their community.
They probably opened up to Bruce McArthur about their lives.
Sure.
Because
100%.
They weren't killed on the first date, I don't think. Because with some of them, like Abdulbasir Faizi actually worked with Bruce McArthur.
Right.
Skandaraj dated him and worked with him.
Since 1999 until 2010.
Yeah, like...
That's a long time.
So he knew, like, this guy's not safe. And I'm pretty sure that was the reason why... Like, the thing is, like, with toxic relationship, it happens in, like, straight couples as well, where you're stuck, you go back to the person who's abusing. And, like, and it's mostly because we as a community, as friends, as family, are not open to listen to them and support them. So they go back to the person who, after abusing them, it's like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm still here for you, you know?
It's that toxic pattern, and you're just like, okay, you know what? At the end of the day, if I leave this person, I've got no one, so I may as well stick myself around, and you put yourself in danger's way. Not necessarily wanting to, but doing it because you feel like you have no choice.
Yeah.
So another thing that came up in my conversations with people were the topic of bachabazi.
Right.
And the topic of bachabazi. So a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but I had about 10 people tell me that bachabazi does not exist in Afghanistan, or it's not part of Afghanistan's culture. And I just want to say, I love the Afghan culture. I love our culture. I love our Afghanness. But
we talk about it because we love it.
Yes.
Not what's happening, but we love Afghan and Afghanistan, Afghanistan. So we have to bring these up in hopes that it can make a difference.
Right. Because our kishwar as khud khub bad dara. We can't just say that, you know, oh, there's all these things. We're seeing it in a rose-colored glasses, but we're not seeing the negative side of it. We're just going to act like it doesn't exist, because unfortunately it does exist. Mm-hmm. So bachabazi itself is it's not necessarily the act of gayness, but rather pedophilia.
Yeah.
So a lot of times what they do is little boys are easier to access because they're usually going out to provide for their families. They're usually from poor families, etc. Or sometimes they're girls, but these girls are known as bachaposh. So these are that generally girls that are old enough to work. So they're like after the age of 7 or 8. Before they hit puberty, and essentially
before they start developing,
basically, yes. So what they do is they dress them up as boys if there's no other boys in the family, and they help work and provide for the family, etc. So these kids are generally targeted. They're taken by these men, and essentially they're made to dance, and then they're made as little sex slaves, etc. So of course this is child rape, this is statutory rape. However, here is where the gayness comes in. So I was actually watching a couple documentaries, and from it I learned that a lot of these men have repressed gayness in them. They will tell someone off for being gay, they will curse someone out for being gay. However, they have repressed gayness in them, and they are told that in Islam you're allowed to have a sex slave. I don't know where they got that from, because
it's Islam they created.
It's exactly, because I've done a lot of research on hadith and in the Quran, etc. You cannot just pick someone, kidnap them, and choose them as a sex slave, but they do. So they take these sex slaves, and the reason why they choose young boys is because either repressed sexuality, or either because they're easier to access, but also because generally guys that are prepubescent, so males that are prepubescent, are not considered males. So it's not considered having sex with a male if it's a boy that's prepubescent, which means that in their head they're thinking, oh, it's not gay to have sex with this guy, so it's not a sin, I'm not going to hell for it.
And I'm not gay.
And yeah, and I'm not gay, but really at the end of it, that's what it is. It's rape of a child, and you are gay. And then
we have to do a full episode on that. I don't want to, like, it would be unjust to do like a little segment right now.
Of course. I will definitely get more into this the next time around, because there's so much I have to say, and there's so much I have to share with you guys. it's actually mind-boggling the way that people justify themselves and what they feel, fits into the society versus what.
Well, it's their own, like, they just take something and they twist it around. They're like, it is Nakhot, it's in there.
It's like, in there, okay. You just have to find it.
Yeah, okay. But back to this. I shared some stuff online as well, and I was like, what do you think about the LGBT community? I have some funny friends, so I got some really funny answers that had nothing to do with this. And then I got some serious ones as well. But some of them were like, some you covered, but some were like, they're the nicest people, which I agree. And some were like, they're the rudest people, which I also agree, because they're humans. They're like us. Like, what's the difference? There's some that are nice, some that are not too nice, some that are having a good day, sometimes they're not having a good day, just like the rest of us. So they're just humans. Like,
so
give them some space. And
one other thing I've noticed is that people have an issue with them being more flamboyant and being more open about their sexuality or like their queerness, etc. And I feel like the reason why they're like that is because they've been repressed and they've been kind of like shut down for so long that now that they have come to these Western countries, they're like, all right, I can finally be myself. So now they're just all up in your face because they're like, you know what, now I can do it. Now I have the freedom.
This reminds me of Majeed Faizi.
Yeah.
The poor guy, I feel like he's getting a lot of hate, but it's so important that we have him in the community, and I know I'm going to get hate for saying that, but I feel like him being so open about his sexuality and who he is as a person, and like it's not like some random person, like it's not like no fumptuous ass, like he's educated, he's a nurse, and like he has his whole life going, but he's also like a face or an ambassador of the LGBT community, of the Afghan community. It's really nice. Like, it kind of gives people some hope, so that, like, your options are not to just live like a hidden or a second life or suicide. Because if you think like being gay is a sin, imagine committing suicide. Because it's a bigger sin. Like, they say like killing yourself is the same as killing somebody else. And killing one person is like killing the whole nation, and saving a person is like saving the whole nation. So basically, even if you push someone to the point where they commit suicide, it's on you.
And I absolutely agree with that. I'm sorry, but if you push someone, even if it's mentally, to a state where they feel that they no longer can live, and the thing is, mental health is something that's also a taboo, and we'll cover it another day, but it's so delicate. Mental health that we don't realize that the smallest thing, the smallest comment can push someone over the edge. یک کلمه که شما بگوین میتونه یا او انسان پس جور کنه برای یک چند لحظه که و پس بخندن پس زنده شون، یا میتونین که بخی و نفرت بشکنانین که و نفر بخی خود بخواه بکشه. And at the end of it, it's your word that can be sharper than a knife.
Yeah. So we're gonna try to like sum everything up and end it, because I think our goal was 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And we're probably at like a gazillion minute right now. But coming back to the case, we do want you to pay attention to your loved ones, and do give some attention to this case, because it is important, and they are our own Afghans that we have neglected for the past 11 years. So I do think they deserve our attention, and they do deserve justice.
Yeah.
There's a victim statement by Majeed Kayhan's brother, and it breaks my heart, because he talks about his other siblings. He talks about his nieces and nephews, and this is Majeed's nieces and nephews, his 2 sons, he has 3 grandchildren, or at the time of the statement he did. I don't know how many he has now, but at the time of the statement he did, and it's heartbreaking, because like everybody's affected, but it's also, as sad as it is, it's heartwarming, because this is his brother speaking for him.
Right, that's the type of person we should aspire to be, whether you agree with someone being gay or not. At the end of the day,
like, what happens behind closed doors is none of our business. It's the person who's in there and whoever they're with.
Exactly.
Unless it's Bruce MacArthur and they're killing somebody, and then we have to jump in and do something about it. But when
as Afghans say, jawab ta khodat ba khuda medi.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't ask a straight couple how often they're doing it or what position they're doing it in, so why ask a gay couple that?
I sound like immature. That just made me laugh.
I bet it did.
Yeah.
So, Muska.
Goodbye,
I don't have
guys.
questions. I don't have questions.
I'm not gonna answer nothing. Anyway, I'm so glad I realized that we were very tense. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thanks. Anyway, guys, this is longer than we expected. So please love those that are around you, family, friends, neighbors, and all. Support them for who they are. And if you know someone that may be bisexual or homosexual or a member of the LGBT community, please stand by them. They need us more than you think.
And please don't push them to come out until they feel ready.
Exactly. Like, don't
because
be like...
that will also be detrimental.
Exactly. Like, don't be like, are you gay? That's not cool. Like, if they come up to you and tell you, I have few friends that are, and one of them, it took, actually 2 of them. One took maybe like 8 years or something, and the other one, maybe like 10 years or something.
Just
and this whole time, seriously, but like, it took them that long to feel comfortable enough and trust me enough to tell me.
And imagine how long it took them to trust themselves, to admit it to themselves.
That's a big thing. That's a huge thing. That's like bigger than telling somebody else, I think.
Yeah.
Like, to accept that, you know? And I do know people that are not able to accept it and are battling with themselves right now. And
because they've been taught it's wrong.
Yeah, and I feel like we owe it to them to come here today and talk to you. And even if like 5, 6 of you listening to this and we're against it before, now you're like, you know what, it's none of my business what they do, because at the end of the day, that's the case. It's none of your business what they do, but it doesn't give you the right to like shame them or in any way. Just stand by them. They're your family and friends regardless of who they go to bed with. So with that, we will end this, and I hope you like the video. We will try to not have it like cut, but you know,
we never know.
Yeah,
but it's
and
okay.
if it's like 2059 right now, January 20 something, hey, we made this in
hi kids.
Grandkids by now. I think it would be kids, maybe grandkids. Yeah,
I don't know, we'll see.
We'll see. 2050. Peace. We were this young and pretty, okay?
I'm always gonna be this young and pretty, that's all.
Of course.
That's all.
Until next time, guys. Love you guys. Hi.
Bye.